Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Real Legend of Gaming. We are back with some Clash Royale. Now, folks, in today's video, we're going to jump right into the action, right? Not too much happened since the last video we uploaded. So in today's video, we're going to go over this deck that's right here, which is the Pekka, Baby Dragon, Electro Wizard, Bandit, Ram Rider, Poison, Barbarian Barrel, and Snowball. I'm going to explain to you what are the counters to this deck, how to use this deck, and I'm going to show you two highlights in which we go against two meta decks. One being the Royal Giant Baby Dragon Lightning deck, and the other deck is a Pekka Bridge Spam deck that's been tearing up the meta for a very long time. So this could be considered a meta killer. So we start off with the Pekka. The Pekka is your main tank, right? And actually, before I even explain anything else, in the timestamps, I'm going to put where you can skip to the gameplay if you don't want to hear the introduction. But I want to make content that is for players that are my skill level, players that are slightly better, and pro players. So if you guys want to see gameplay, just jump right ahead. It's all good. So back to the Pekka. It's your main primary tank. So the Pekka is going to be protecting your Ram Rider, and then you're going to support the Pekka with the Baby Dragon, the Electro Wizard. The Baby Dragon will protect it from the minions, the minion hordes, and even some of the units that are on the floor, like the Skarmies, the guards, the Barbarians, right? Because you're going to see a lot of Barbarians now. You know, you can say the lead Barbarians, but I think the Pekka will do a good job on his own taking care of them. Then you got the E-Wiz, which is going to protect it from the Infernal Dragon, which is another counter to the Pekka, and the Infernal Tower. And it will also help reset some of the other units as well that might do some damage, like the Prince, the Dark Prince, and even the Bandit. Then you have the Ram Rider, which is one of the most unique legendary cards in the game right now. At first, people were skeptical about the card. It seemed like a clone of a Hog Rider, but man, has this card amazed everyone with its ability to stun units across the lane and also being able to use his lasso to attack units as well. So the Ram Rider is technically a support for the Pekka, but the Pekka is going to be that primary tank. You're not going to play either of the two cards alone unless you have an elixir advantage where you can throw the Ram Rider at the bridge and support it with one of the other units like the Baby Dragon, E-Wiz, or if you want to throw the Barbarian Barrel in front of it, the Barbarian Barrel could be a meat shield as well. Now, supplement all that with the Poison Spell and the Snowball, you got yourself a pretty solid deck that can counter a lot of units. Poison, again, is going to help the Pekka when it crosses that bridge. It's going to take care of the Skarmies. It's going to take care of the minion hordes as well. And it's also going to help you do, damage over time against those splash units that are going to be doing damage, like the Wizard, the Witch. It'll get the Skarmies from the Witch and stuff like that. And then your Barbarian Barrel, you're going to use to target, again, the splash units that are going to do damage, like the Musketeer, the Wizard, the Executioner, and technically you can do the Witch, but it'll be a little bit harder, and the Hunter. While the Snowball will be your counter against Goblin Barrels. It will also help you knock back opponents, giving you a chance to cycle back to another unit to do damage or to support. So that is how you use the deck, folks. Ideal push. And again, if you want to see this text, it's going to be on Stats Royale. But the push is Pekka, Ram Rider, support. If you can't do that, then you can do Pekka, support, and cycle back to that Ram Rider eventually. So that's pretty much it. So let's get into some gameplay. All right, here we go with the first replay, folks. And this is challenge gameplay. I figured to make it a lot easier for you guys to see the deck. There's no level disadvantages or advantages, right? So we're going to start the way I like to play this deck. And again, it might not be the best way, but it's the way I prefer to play, is you drop that Baby Dragon. I love starting with that card because this splash damage is incredible when you're not able to defend against it. So they drop down the Mega Minion. They have the Furnace going. I'm not too much worried about the Furnace because I can always use the Ram Rider against it once I have the right push going. So they play Royal Giant right away. Now that is something that we need to focus on because the Royal Giant is going to do a lot of damage if it's left untreated. So Pekka is going to tear it up, right? Easy counter. Not too much skill involved for that. Now we're going to play the Ram Rider. Ram Rider is going to be able to help against that E-Wiz. It's going to hit the Furnace, right? One hit takes it out. And then we'll use our Barbarian Barrel. 2 elixirs is able to counter against that E-Wiz. We use a Snowball to knock back the Mega Minion, which gives the Ram Rider an opportunity to use his lasso to hit, while the Barbarian Barrel is still alive doing chip damage against the tower. That worked out pretty good. I played the Bandit there. I kind of overextended. I got carried away with the push. But regardless of the fact, we're doing the damage, right? It's not necessarily a negative, but I could have saved 3 elixir to defend. So little mistakes like that you got to avoid. But when you're up one tower in the beginning, you can, you know, afford to make 1 or 2 mistakes. Use the E-Wiz now to stop that Royal Giant. And then again, we're going to play the Ram Rider just so we can be able to stun and use the lasso. So between the E-Wiz stun and the Ram Rider stun, we did a pretty good job there. Again, we're going to take out the Furnace with the Ram Ride. And we're going to use a Snowball just to knock things back a little bit, giving the Barbarian Barrel maybe 2 or 3 additional swings. Now, with the recent nerf to the Barbarian Barrel, there's going to be 1 less swing than usual. So you got to remember that too. We use the Bandit at the bridge. Does damage against the E-Wiz. Easy peasy, right? All right, now we're looking in. Let me see. So we got 400 on the left-hand side. So we could lose that tower. You got 2 options. Give up the tower and start a push on the right. Or try to make something happen. We're going to go pushing on the right. So we have the Pekka with the Baby Dragon. That's a push on his own. Don't need to really go crazy. We can go right back to defending against that Royal Giant. 2 Elixir. Barbarian Barrel gets the job done. Now we got the Ram Rider behind the Pekka. We're going to take out the Furnace. We drop down the Poison. We got the Bandit in. At this point, that tower is down. I don't care what the opponent's going to do. There's just too much momentum, too much ferocious activity going on. You got the Bandit and a Ram Rider, folks. Who's going to stop that? All right, enough with the craziness. Royal Giant drop down. We're going to use our Pekka again to take it out. Now we just got to worry about that Mega Minion in the guards. We'll knock it back with the Snowball. We already got 1 tower. We dropped the Poison on the other one. 2 towers down. So there you go. That's 1 meta deck that we're able to play against. But you might say, hey, the Pekka counters the Royal Giant. But that deck does have counters against the Pekka. So, you know, it has the guards and other units that do a pretty good job against it. So, you know, that's one idea there. Now let's get into the second replay. Now, this is against a Pekka Bridge Spam. And this is like the new version, right? Because Bridge Spam was very different back then. But this is the version that has the Royal Giant, which is the much stronger and evolved version, right? Anytime you can add in the Legendary in, that's only 3 Elixir, forget about it, man. And the results is crazy. So again, same thing, right? You see, I like playing that Baby Dragon. Let it work its magic. Push up against the tower. If it gets hits in, good. If not, it's going to do damage against whatever the opponent throws down. We'll play our Barbarian Barrel to go against the Bandit. Not too bad, I think. Then we have our Bandit and E-Wiz on the other side. So we're going to do some damage with that as well. And then we could play our Ram Rider. Try to drop that in front of the E-Wiz. Ram Rider is going to stop the Royal Ghost. And it's going to get a ram in. We'll throw the Snowball to knock back the Royal Ghost. Allowing the Ram Rider to get more hits in. Look at that damage. We brought that tower down to a pretty good amount. So we're going to use the Bandit against the Royal Ghost. Because the Royal Ghost does a lot of damage as well. Barbarian Barrel in front of the Bandit. Again, using it as a very cheap tank. And it also can distract, right? Because that other Bandit hit the Barbarian Barrel. But my Bandit still got damage done over time. E-Wiz on top of the Battle Ram. Stuns it. Does damage against the Bandit. At this point, we don't have to worry about the ramming. So we're in a good spot. Baby Dragon is going to do the rest of the cleanup. So that's all you're doing, right? You're controlling the pace of the match by defending. And as soon as you have the opportunity to knock down a push, you get it in. You see we already got a tower. They drop down the Pekka. No need to worry about that. They got a Pekka. We got a Pekka. So you're going to drop yours. But you want to kite it away too. So bring it over to the side. They're going to bring out their Royal Ghost. And they got minions. And E-Wiz. So they got good push going. Guess what? We got a Poison Spell. Which is going to do damage to all the units within its radius. And then we're going to use a Snowball to knock it back. And folks, scary push doesn't mean anything. We stopped it. So now we let our count build up. We are in double elixir time. We just, again, got to defend. Barbarian Barrel, E-Wiz combo. We're in a good spot right there. Now this is scary, right? Because they drop down the Royal Ghost and the minions again. Right? Bridge spam. But we got the Poison spam. We got the Pekka. We're looking good. They're going to try to bridge spam on the left-hand side. We're going to defend. We dropped our Snowball to knock everything back. And then we'll use our Pekka. And we'll drop our Barbarian Barrel. We didn't lose a lot there. We saved our tower. So again, now all we need to do is defend. We're shutting down the bridge spam, folks. At this point, opponent drops the Poison down. He's trying to get that tower done. It's not going to work out. We drop down our Pekka. We want to block that path. It's locked down to win. And that's it. 2-1, game over. So there you go. Another meta deck. We were able to stop with this deck here. So folks, use these decks. I'm not going to ask you to use the deck. Use them. If you have the Ram Rider, use the card, man. It's a solid complement to the Pekka. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this deck, if it worked out for you, and if you're using a variation of it. You know, I'm always interested in see what types of decks you guys are using. All right, so other than that, appreciate the support always. If you're first time to the channel, you're already up to this point, then just do it. Hit the like button, subscribe for more Clash Royale content where we give you guides, tips, and my favorite highlights from challenges. All right, so peace out.